At Target, you can find the things you need that also align with your sustainable goals and help you care for the planet. Target makes it easy to shop with the future in mind, with brands like Everspring, made with natural ingredients and recycled packaging, Target Clean Beauty products, formulated without chemicals and other harmful ingredients, and initiatives like Target Zero that offer zero-waste beauty solutions. All of these products are available at everyday low prices, meaning you never have to compromise what's important to you when you shop. Sustainable college essentials, from recycled packaging and zero-waste beauty, available at Target. Visit Target.com or head to your local Target store.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Hey kids, do you like pro wrestling? We like pro wrestling as well. This is Shake Them Ropes. I am Jeff Hawkins. He is Chris Novembrino. We are brought to you this week by Hellofresh. More on them later. Chris, this to me, in terms of this week, is what you might have called in 1817 the era of good feelings. Because, well, it hasn't been perfect. Everything I've watched this week has been kind of fun. And I don't want to get too far out over my skis about, Triple H and stuff like that, but this show is fun in two different ways. If everything stinks and we're snarking on it, we usually have a great show because we're just clowning on everything. And when we're in good moods, this show is generally very, very good, and I'm in a pretty good mood.
Yeah, I was going to open up the show with the question of the day being, is pro wrestling back? Like, is WWE back?
Pump the brakes.
I was going to basically finish off at pump the brakes, but I did think that this show, I thought that watching SummerSlam and then Raw, even NXT, like
a little bit, yeah.
Even
Dynamite for me. I'll even up this. It was important to me, at least. While it wasn't the best card in the world, I did have fun watching the Ric Flair last match pay-per-view because it was a love letter to Jim Crockett Promotions. I mean, Tony and David Crockett were there calling the action. Bob Caudle sent in a video. There were some good matches on there, like the Luchador match they had on there was outstanding. Black Taurus is just a hell of a worker. Ric Flair, look... If you thought you were going to get a 5-star match out of Ric Flair at this point, trust me, it was as sad as everybody said it was. Jeff Jarrett looked good. Jay Lethal looked good. Andrade was serviceable. But it was nice to see him in the ring go out on the way he wanted to, even though I don't know if that's necessarily how he wanted to. But at the same time, maybe it's nice to finally have him out. No, it was nice to... to me, it was like a love story. Let me back off a little bit so I don't sound too mean. It was nice to have a love letter, like a funeral for Jim Crockett Promotions, because I never got that. But yeah, okay, now get your jokes out.
No, I feel like I sort of have given my commentary.
I'm kind of happy now that I don't have to worry about Ric Flair ever being in the ring again after hearing about it, to be honest with you. I mean, Orlando WrestleMania was enough.
Oh, he looks so healthy. You don't think he got a little...
Dude, he took a flat back bump on a suplex, which he never takes, and he couldn't get up. And they basically had to shove brass knuckles onto him, and basically he had to do a figure 4 from his back. Look, he was in bad shape. He's on blood thinners. He has a bad heart. He never should have been doing this.
I don't even pity him. All of this is self-inflicted. Yeah, that's the thing. There's just no pity for me.
No, but it still was an interesting watch at times. But we'll get into that as we go into Lazy River. We might intertwine a little Lazy River with the news, because I'm going to make a big case that I think I'll just put my premise out there now. I think AEW is going to be with either USA or Fox on their next contract. And I'm not kidding about that, because I think Well, let's get into it. Anyway, SummerSlam, strong walk-up, ended up drawing 40,117 to Nissan Stadium. Paid attendance likely in the 37,000 range, but it had a great walk-up in that last week. A little bit down from last year in Las Vegas, but ticket prices were higher. Coming out of SummerSlam, one major injury, Becky Lynch. You didn't see her on the was it the jaded / glam slam? I don't know what Bianca calls it, but landed on her shoulder, has a separated shoulder, will be out for a while. Just going to say this, Chris. I think it's possibly one of the best things to happen to her because now she's not going to be involved in this next feud because they'd want her to be Stone Cold. And if they're saving her for Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania, it's nice to get her off of TV for a while so she can heal, but also so that the story can build and she's not there week after week.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I think it was the right time to turn her babyface. I think that being graceful in defeat and the promo was good. The backstage beat up segment, I think, works well as well. Even though, it does seem like she was initially kind of slated in as the second to Bianca, but that would have been weird because, as you were saying, we're trying to build to Becky and Ronda, and so you still would have had this issue of like, who are we focusing on? Are we focusing on Becky? Are we focusing on Bianca? And keeping her heel, I don't think would have been good.
Also helps Bianca be the lead in this.
Yes, right, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like getting Becky out of the way entirely, I think, is important for Bianca right now.
But who's bearing the lead? This guy, because Aunt Pam is back. Aunt Pam Bailey, happy. I'm a happy boy, Chris. She is back. She's a heel. She looks great. She brought a couple friends with her. The fired Dakota Kai back with the company, and one Io Shirai, formerly known as Io Shirai, now known as Io Sky, coming in with her. Looks like they're going to kind of be doing a "you kept us in NXT way too long" kind of angle. I'm happy about this. I was tipped off that, hey, there's going to be somebody fired and somebody who was almost fired involved in this whole thing. I thought it was going to be Index, which I incorrectly told you, but no, it turned out one Dakota Kai finally getting that main roster money she's earned, and Io, who had threatened in the trades that, hey, you know what, or it had been said in the trades that if I don't get a main roster contract, I'm out of here. So, I mean, I'm happy with the stable. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think it's a good staple. I think, the issue with stables sometimes in the past has been making sure that you are taking care of all three of them.
Yes.
But different day, different presentation, and I think everyone's up here for a reason.
I would have, look, a little lazy river talk here. I would have wanted Io to have a squash match first to introduce her to just the main roster viewers who didn't know who she was. They put her over hard on commentary, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, okay. But they put her in there with the champ first match. She held her own for a while, looked good. Heels got the upper hand. It's a good introduction to this stable. I mean, that crowd was hot when that beatdown started. And that was, in the in-ring fight where like you have all six in there hitting each other. And I think that's generally good for wrestling is when, there's a fight and people are reacting to it.
Yeah, and Alexa will slot in nicely as the wild card.
People like Alexa.
Right. But her character sort of makes sense as the can you really trust her character?
Right. Yeah. Apparently, USA Network executives are pressuring WWE to make an interim world title for Raw until they find a suitable way for Roman Reigns to drop one of his titles. Now, see, this does not surprise me, Chris, because Fox has gotten the brunt of the dual belt holder Roman Reigns, and Raw's kind of been, hey, what about us? We've been here backing you for this whole time. That's why my theory now is that, look, I think WWE has been trying to split the baby on this between two suitors. And I think one of the suitors is going to get jaded and want to put AEW and have somebody who's loyal to them. But I think you're only going to have to wait until Clash at the Castle or whatever the heck they're calling it for Roman to drop one of these titles at the same time. So this just might be hey, Roman drops the SmackDown belt to Drew and then goes to Raw.
That would be very interesting. I did not realize that the networks were getting so distressed about the unified title
I
thing.
did not either.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. He's been on SmackDown. He's essentially been the SmackDown champion with holding the Raw belt hostage.
Yes.
Rather than the unified, I reign and lord over all the brands thing, even with kind of the increased presence of the Bloodline on Raw here in the last couple of weeks. I guess that maybe explains a little bit why you're seeing the Usos featured more heavily as characters on Raw. Like WWE wants to be able to argue, hey, no, we definitely, this Bloodline thing is like the meta storyline right now.
Going over to AEW, and in a tertiary news here, Time Warner Discovery had their first earnings call since the merger. The newly combined company lost $3.4 billion in its first quarter. And they have put together a strategy where they're going to combine HBO Max and Discovery Plus into one streaming platform. And the cries everywhere of the cuts were coming in geek quarters everywhere as Warner Brothers shelved films that were finished or almost finished, such as Batgirl. They've decided to cut most of their scripted programming, and canceled a few shows as well. And it looks like from the presentation at the investors meeting, they are going to make what I think is a brave strategy. And I'll tell you why, because they view HBO Max as male skewing, scripted, leaning in, appointment viewing, and home of the fandoms, which is partially true because all the DC fans are in there. Your film franchise fans are all on HBO Max. Meanwhile, Discovery Plus, a little more female skewing, more unscripted, more of a kind of a laid back thing in terms of anticipation and event stuff for premieres, more comfort viewing than anything else, and home of genre dumbs. Look, they have, between Discovery Plus, they have the Discovery Channel, they have HGTV, they have Do It Yourself, they have the Food Network, and people love those shows. I mean, you put on that thing on a weekend, you're getting a marathon of celebrity chef insults local chefs. What other genres do we have? Out of work actors pretending to sell rich real estate to wealthy people. You have, can we fix up this shack? Blue collar job, getting into contrived situations and make it seem far more dangerous because people are stupid. What other genres of reality TV do we have on the Discovery Channel?
I like man going out into the wild with a camera team and a camping setup off camera, but doing an impression of living entirely off the land. Like
yeah,
that
you're
book.
Jane Goodall out there.
No, I like to think of them as doing a live reenactment of Hatchet, that classic novel.
What happens if I go gold digging in a minefield? Let's see what happens.
Whoa. And I will not have you go in on, what's it, Gold Rush America?
Gold Rush America.
No, I'm sorry, Gold Rush Alaska. No. Jack Hoffman's a wonderful man.
Oh, no.
Wonderful man.
I'm just saying the genre.
Wonderful
like
man.
Ice Road Truckers is very popular, but it's always like, we got to get this truckload of toys to the Ronald McDonald house because those children are dying. And it's just like, it's like so much more added drama than it needs to be, other than just doing the day-to-day job. But to me, it's a brave thing. They've also classified AEW on this thing as X News and Sports, which means they do not lump it in. The company's Tiffany profile right now, the one that they're going to spend big money on, is the NBA, because the NBA gets buku ratings for them, and everything else is / animation / streaming only properties / scripted stuff / I mean the creative unions out here. I love my brothers and sisters in creative unions. I am a member of a creative union. They've put on the miner's hat. They put a little suit under there, like, we are the working man. You can't do this to us, kind of thing going on. I think they have every right to be angry because, look, there are going to be fewer jobs out there. I get it. But this is what the company is going to do to try and make this thing profitable. They're going to merge the two streaming services. And, Chris, I did not know this. Between the two of them, there are 92 million subscribers to Discovery Plus and HBO Max, with 4 million subscribing to both. So they're planning to add 40 million new streaming subscriptions. Now here's the issue to me, is that a lot of these streaming services and stuff like that, like a lot of the channel stuff, like if I wanted to watch Rampage or Dynamite on my computer, I'd have to go to the website or the app, but I'd also need a cable subscription to be able to log in and watch it. And I think in the entire streaming platform type thing, I don't think they account for the fact that people aren't going to choose either or, because they're not going to be able to get the live TV stuff. And for Discovery at the same time, look, they have they have like millions and millions of hours of these types of shows that they have across all their properties. But there's literally no difference between turning on the channel on any given weekend or weekday and going to the streaming, other than you want to select the program you want to watch. But I mean, every doctor's office I've been to during this whole ordeal I've had has had HGTV on or Do It Yourself Network on, and it's the same show every single time. I just don't know how archival thing is there. And that's why I say it's a brave move to try and get the demographic a little bit wider, but they're only protecting one property. And I think AEW eventually, I think the people at AEW, and I will finish on this, I think Tony has been talking to some people, mainly Uncle Dave, who said, hey, it's all TV rights, TV rights, TV rights. And now they're about to go into negotiations for TV rights. And I think they're going to find a company that they're negotiating with that doesn't want to pay them more than what they're making now.
Yeah, I mean, that might be very well true, but they don't have great year-over-year numbers. That their negotiating position is not incredible right now, because performance is not incredible right now.
Is it or is it not? Because I mean, we hear how well they're doing in the demo on Wednesdays. Now Fridays is a disaster. Fridays is bad.
Didn't you send me some chart though where like the year-over-year numbers were down?
Yeah, the year-over-year is down.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's, if you're they do good in the demo. I think there's a good news story and there's a bad news story, right? Mm-hmm. It might be that, like, yes, this is a product that has done well in the demo and has questions going forward on how it will do, especially with the secondary product Rampage kind of flagging in the ratings. I mean, I think the argument if anything, if you're Tony, I think you do want to move on from this partnership, even if it's the same amount of money, just because I think you might get a better presentation, especially if it is Fox or USA, who has been running wrestling on their network forever. Like, if they could end up on Dynamite, or end up on USA and run Dynamite on USA on Monday nights, that would be such a feather in their cap that if the money was the exact same, I think it's still worth it just to show, hey, we're now on Monday nights on USA.
Yeah, I think while the nostalgia of having wrestling on a Turner network is fine, I think making money is probably more important at this point, and getting somebody who will overpay will be more important. And I don't think Time Warner Discovery is going to be that partner. They are in full on lean and mean, disposable shows, disposable content. Who cares about critical acclaimed type of stuff? I mean, this is kind of what happened to WCW. Like they kind of got caught in a cross streams of when AOL bought it.
Right, yeah. So history rhymes sometimes.
Wait, what's the common denominator here? Is Time Warner all the time?
That is so weird. Yeah, huh? Here comes Time Warner to ruin things for a Crockett promotion. So, I mean, I just think, to answer your original question, if the money's all the same and they could somehow end up on either Fox or, in my opinion, almost even better, although like the ratings say Fox is really great, but landing on USA and bumping WWE off of USA essentially would be it. That would be like a very DX crashed in the gates of WCW moment.
I don't think that happens. I think Fox dances with AEW.
That would be good for them though too.
I think
it's sort of a win-win.
USA is firmly. I mean, because they've also went through that once before when they left for TNN.
Yes.
And they wanted them back badly after that. I think this is a legacy property by now. After what, 4 decades on USA. I think WWE. I mean, I'm expecting. Look, if WWE ever goes up for sale, I expect NBC Universal to buy them.
I mean, if you look at the way they've been treating the Bloodline and Roman Reigns, clearly they've been more concerned about the Fox contract and making sure that they are, in the good graces of Fox.
Yes.
And so I think that's sort of illustrative of where the weak point
is. They're dressing up for the girlfriend and keeping the wife at home. AEW has also expanded its talent relations department, shoring up a bit of a weakness there. Sanjay Dutt's new title is Vice President of Production Creative Control. He will coordinate communication of storylines, be a liaison on post-production work, produce ancillary content, streaming, and mentor new producers. He'll continue to be an on-screen manager as well. QT Marshall is now Vice President of Show and Creative Coordination. He will manage show elements, plan programs and storylines, work on character development, oversee extras being used, and live event logistic coordination, and will also continue his on-air role. Pat Buck has been made Vice President of Talent Development. He will work with talent and production, oversee the coaches, provide input on matches and promos, and lead talent relations. And Tony Schiavone is now Senior Producer and Special Advisor to Talent. He will also work in talent relations. Christopher Daniels remaining Manager of Talent Relations and will work with the Legal and Talent Resources team of Margaret Stalvey, Mega Perek, and Chris Peck. And also coming on to join AEW as a coach, Madison Rayne has been hired as women's coach there.
Nothing particularly shocking in any of these moves.
No, but it sounds like at least they're trying to shore up the communications issues that have been complained about in the media by what has been viewed as disgruntled talent. A lot of voices you can trust, like a Chris Daniels sort of type. Yeah. Sure. A lot of these people were in Impact doing the same kind of thing. Few did a cup of coffee in WWE and now are in AEW. I think that's interesting. I think Tony's probably trying to figure out, hey, I'm now juggling 5 shows at once or 4 shows and trying to get a ROH brand up and running. I need a little bit more help. I'm hoping that's true as well. So yeah, I view this as mostly a positive. Some people were getting on Madison Rayne as being hired as a women's coach, not the women's coach. I think people mistook that. She's going to be part of a team, and she's been well liked wherever she's gone. I'd have no problem with this, even though she has no, from what I know, no real coaching background per se. But it's like, hey, you know what? Been around. She's been everywhere. She knows how people do things. I mean, WWE, and everybody's got to start somewhere, right? Yeah, you don't know, especially with coaching. You sometimes, especially with coaching, it doesn't necessarily. You don't have to be a great performer, in the ring, on the court performer. Whatever it is. You sometimes you just get the business and you're able to teach it and convey it, and you have to start at some point, and you have to start somewhere. And the other thing is, usually those types of people, if you're self-aware enough, you know your weaknesses. You're the person who usually teaches what you're weak at. Like me as an improv coach, I teach heavy character stuff. I stink at character stuff. I do, but I'm good at coaching that stuff because I know what I'm weak at. And I've been given these notes time after time after time. So I go, okay, I don't want you to have to go through this. I'm going to help you with what I am personally weak at. And then I also have my strengths, which I can also coach pretty well. So it's one of those things where it's like, if you're an all around person, sometimes it's like being a jack of all trades and a master of none. So yeah. Or if everything came naturally to you, sometimes it's really hard to convey how to actually do things, because Michael Jordan is not a good mentor. Right. No. Some of the best shot doctors and that sort of thing some of them were good on the court or whatever, but many of them are just really good off the court. They're just good at shooting. Dwayne Johnson and Danny Garcia, not Daniel Garcia, announced the third reincarnation of the XFL will debut with games on February 18th, 2023. Chris, start working on those theme songs.
Yes, I've got the guitar here. I just put fresh strings on. We're ready.
Women of Wrestling promotion owned by Jeannie Buss will be airing in syndication throughout the U.S. starting on the weekend of September 17th and 18th. Interesting that they're doing syndication. It was originally thought they were just going to do Access, I believe. And one Tessa Blanchard, no longer the face of that promotion. Anything to say about that, or should I just go on?
Just go on.
All right. Final in notes and news. Ratings talk. WWE Raw USA Network 2,230,000. 18 to 49 rating 0.61. Number one in cable. That, I mean, look, they had a great. There are three things I think that really contributed to this. Maybe four. We'll get to it. Number one, curiosity post SummerSlam. Number two, commercial free. That first hour probably helped them a bit, but I think that's been overplayed. Number three, the rumor that Sasha and Naomi may show up on Raw, which did not come to pass. And also number four, just all the Vince McMahon news and seeing how this new era would start. I think just all that. We'll see if they can hold this, but you gotta give credit where due. I mean, it's a heck of a number for them.
If they're going to have a good month, this is the first week of that good month.
Yes.
And I'm very interested to see how they hold up here, over the next 4 weeks and where the writing and stuff goes. It is legitimately intriguing. This is the first time in a long time I myself have been intrigued to watch Raw and actually watched Raw in its entirety. And wasn't bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad.
It was not bad. We'll get to that in a minute. WWE NXT, 649,000 viewers, 18 to 49 rating 0.15. Dynamite, 938,000. Pretty good number, 18 to 49.32. SmackDown last Friday, 2,193,000. 0.52. The worrisome one, though, Rampage, 375,000 viewers, 18 to 49.11. Friday night's a bad night. Friday night at 10's even worse. And also, they're just putting on, I mean, it's the ROH show. I just think they're putting on second-tier stuff that people think is skippable.
Yeah, they've made WCW Saturday night at a worse time slot. It's
Power Hour. I mean, like, Mance Warner is in the main event on thing, and he's never really been shown except for that one thing on Dynamite. And you're just like, okay, is that going to be a draw?
Especially, I guess, as someone who watches Dynamite, like, yeah, man, that's a name I don't know I've seen on Dynamite really at all.
This will be my first. I mean, we're taping this right before SmackDown and Rampage are to go on. I know the name. I've never seen him, so I'm interested to watch him. Yeah.
But no, open mind. But no, I think that's illustrative of the issue with Rampage. It's really skippable. There's no important plot beats that happen on Rampage that they just and nothing they've done, it seems to work. Like putting Jim Ross on Rampage isn't the move. You just have to you'd have to completely revamp the show and how you're presenting it.
They popped the rating for Punk. That was about it.
Yeah, and that Friday at 10 is still going to be a death slot because anyone who's got anything to do is not going to be watching it live.
I mean, that's what happened to Miami Vice. It was a hit for a while, and then it just died because people want their Friday nights. At least people in the demo want their Friday nights. Me, I'm happy at home. But that'll do it for the news. Closing up the news bag. Chris, tell us a little bit about Hellofresh.
All right, Jeffrey, Hellofresh is a wonderful service. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. Savor every last second of summer with HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers fresh quality produce from the farm to your door in less than a week, allowing you to enjoy the delicious flavors of the season right from home. Skip the grocery store and spend more time soaking up the last of the summer sun. You feel that heat on your window pane? You could go outside. You'd have more time to soak it up with HelloFresh. HelloFresh Market is a one-stop shop for all your mealtime needs with a curated selection of quick breakfasts, lunches, breakfasts. It's fine. It's fine. Suffering succotash.
Snacks.
I wanted to come. I was trying to come in. No, okay. We're just going to continue. I'm coming in with a different delivery today, Jeffrey. Dessert and more. Heading out for one last vacation, Jeffrey. Update your delivery address and enjoy HelloFresh at your vacation destination with just a click. Plans are flexible, so they work with your changing schedule. We had HelloFresh earlier in the year, Jeffrey. Didn't we? Tell them about HelloFresh. What did you think of it?
Oh, no, I actually, I don't do a lot of cooking in terms of steps and preps and stuff like that. So for me, having all the ingredients pre-measured in the right number of things and specific directions, I had never had couscous. I'm not an adventurous eater, so to speak. Couscous was tasty with the Mediterranean chicken with the yogurt. That was good. I mean, every hamburger I get from these types of places, because they always add in a hamburger meal of some sort, it's always great because the protein is so good. And it and like I said, I mean, it's just for me as someone who's single, and cooking's kind of a social activity. So it's just, for me, it's like eating is just like a means to an end versus, an experience. And I really had fun doing HelloFresh.
So I don't have a joyless food existence like Jeffrey, but I do have a girlfriend, and
also no,
and she is vegan, and cooking for my vegan girlfriend is confusing because I don't like.
Yes, your vegan Canadian girlfriend. Yes,
she's not Canadian. They don't. I don't. How did those?
She's in Canada. You wouldn't know her. That's what the reference is. Keep going.
Oh, okay. I see what you're trying to do here. That's sad, Jeffrey. That's petty.
I know.
That's
She's
petty.
Imaginary.
But like I need to cook for her. And HelloFresh offers vegan options, and it's nice. It really is, because I can get a pre-made meal kit and throw that together rather quickly because, I'm not necessarily going to be eating that, but I still want to, have something that's good for her. So if you're interested in trying out HelloFresh, you can go to HelloFresh.com/VOW16 and use code VOW16 for 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. We like to call that the 16-7-3 plan over here. That's HelloFresh.com/VOW16. Using the code VOW16, you can take advantage of 16 free meals across 7 boxes and 3 free gifts. HelloFresh, America's number one meal kit. Number one tagline.
Good Lord. Anyways, now we go to the lazy river of wrestling criticism. Whatever we watched, whatever we saw. Chris, I might talk a little bit of Vader this week, because I did watch a little Vader. But no, anything we watch, anything that's on our mind comes up in this, starting with ice cold thoughts about SummerSlam. Wow. The first half of this show, I adored. I thought it was fun. It was nice. Look, I had a lot of goodwill from the Bayley appearance. I will admit that. Aunt Pam, one of my favorites. Love her. Glad she was back. But Becky and Bianca was fantastic. Logan Paul is insane, and I love him. I know he's a jerk. I know that people hate his social media presence, but as a wrestler, I love watching Logan Paul work, and he and Miz had a hell of a night, I thought. Logan Paul is crazy. He has FU money. He doesn't need to be diving off a turnbuckle going through announcer tables, but he did it for my pleasure. And I have a lot of respect for people who do that. Same with Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee looked a little shaky in a few moments on his thing with Corbin, but I still respected the hell out of him for doing it because he also has FU money. Doesn't need to be doing it. Does it because he wants it. The only low point for me in this entire SummerSlam show, because I liked the forklift. I got to admit, I liked the forklift or the tractor. I liked it a lot. The dumb booking of Street Profits and Usos, where they come out in Tennessee Titans gear. They have the Titans cheerleaders. They are hyped that the crowd wants it. This is the time to belt them. 1, 2, 3 after the day one. And you're just like, or or the 1D, and you're just like, what in the F are they doing? I get that they're probably doing the split now, but this was the time to crown them, and they didn't. But overall, did not put a gray cloud over the sunshine I had for this show. It was an easy thumbs up for me. What about you?
I loved this show. I thought this show. Yeah, no, I thought the show was extremely watchable, and it was funny because on Friday night I was trying to watch SmackDown, and it was so bad that I had to stop watching because the camera coverage, not the content, but like that opening match, there that clip with Sheamus and
it was great match, but the camera work just made you sick.
It made you sick. And normally, like a lot of times, people will be complaining about it. I'll go like, I just don't really notice it. This was unbelievably bad, I was hanging out with the fake Canadian girlfriend here, and I was like, do you want to actually watch some of the SummerSlam show? And we popped on the Lesnar and Reigns match, and it was really good. It was really entertaining. I enjoyed the forklift spot, like the backhoe spot. Backhoe spot.
You're right. You're correct.
Yeah. Like the backhoe spot was great. Like I just thought it was a great chaotic match. It's exactly like what you expect that sort of last man standing match to be. And I thought Brock really worked his ass off. Dude, I enjoyed the show a lot.
I love Brock. I do.
He's well, like good Brock is really good. Yeah.
I just like big guys who kick ass. So I want a big guy kick ass match. That's all I want. And I have a problem with Drew McIntyre in a way, because I feel like I have the same problem I have with Drew that I have with Cesaro at times, in that they're big guys with this offense, but it seems almost like fake tough offense. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to Brock, who just murder deaths people. I view it like when I was really excited about that Brody King, Darby Allin match, where Brody King just killed him. I want those types of matches sometimes. I want a match where somebody is getting the crap kicked out of them. And this felt like everybody was getting the crap kicked out of everybody. So yeah, I loved it. I thought this pay-per-view over-delivered in so many ways.
Yes. No, it was consistent though with the general trend of WWE, which has been very bad weekly television, that with big shows that have generally outkicked what they should have been, especially if you were watching the weekly coverage going in.
And commentary didn't make me angry. It felt looser.
No. Dude, commentary clearly feels looser. I like it a lot. It's been what you and I, more in line of like what you and I have kind of wanted out of commentary, which is, okay, everyone knows their character. Like Corey is the snarky one, and you have Byron, who's the doofus, and then you have Jimmy, who's the straight one. And that is the dynamic, and everyone knows what their character is, and they don't need someone in their ear barking explicit lines at them, because Byron knows to stay within the doofus character. There was like a really fun moment where Byron got like a word wrong, and then I caught it, and Graves corrected it too, and it was like all done seamlessly within character, and it was funny, and like I was laughing, and like that's all I want. I want a commentary booth that's in character, but like kinetic and like lively and feels like real humans.
Well, here's how you can tell that things have eased up is when Bayley came back. When Io Shirai was introduced in the way that they do, they did in the way they do introductions sometimes in NXT, where they had her Titantron for Io Shirai, and then they introduced her as Io Sky, and Corey naturally stumbled on it a couple times. If Vince were still in his ear, he'd be getting screamed at for ruining the debut. Now it's just like, I'm sorry, that's what she used to be known as. Because, WWE is still going to do the whole thing where it's like we trademark names so that we can make money off of it. Not everything has changed in WWE. They still don't want people's indies names being in there, I think. But, I hope they lighten up on that. But, That's how you knew. It's like, hey, Corey can make a mistake, fix it on his own, and go on with his life, as opposed to getting screamed at in his ear for 5 minutes that he ruined the pay-per-view because he messed up Io Sky's name.
I absolutely understand WWE's financial concerns with like wanting to own the name or whatever. I just wish they'd create a grandfather clause for the NXT talent, that if you have been using a name on NXT, especially in this one, where like the whole storyline is that these two are pissed off that they've been left down in NXT too long. Oh, what were they called down there? It's just, it becomes stupid. I just want them to like grandfather in the NXT people, and then like if you want to do that going forward and make your NXT name kind of like be like a non-name once you get to the main roster, and that's always the rule, so be it. But like no more with the Walter stuff. Call it the Gunter rule if you want.
Okay, your turn on the river.
My turn on the river. We are now, I guess, moving on to Raw here, I suppose.
If you wish. If you had something else on SummerSlam, I'll listen to it.
No, I don't know that I have anything else on SummerSlam.
Okay.
Thought the Montez Ford and Seth Rollins match was nice. Don't know that, like, I think it needed more time if we were really going to, like, star make Ford here, but I liked it for what it was.
The match was good. The way they got to the match. Rock, paper, scissors. Montez just runs down there. I like my feuds with a little more heat than a game of rock, paper, scissors. I wish they had found a more creative way to do it. Although don't get me wrong, I like that. It feels like they're doing the slow build, the burn, as they're literally saying on TV, "We're not breaking up. We're not breaking up." That's kind of clever, even though we all know it's denial, I think. And Montez is good. I think next week it'll be Dawkins' turn to lose to Seth, and then we see what happens from there.
Dawkins is the one who needs the competitive showing more. I'm much more interested in seeing what the Dawkins singles match against Rollins is going to look like, because I think he's the bigger question mark in terms of, okay, will this guy float or sink after the split? Which is not going to happen, of course.
I'm going to jump off of Raw. We can always jump back to it if you have another point on that. But for my next Lazy River pick, I am going to praise the absolute simplicity of the Jay Lethal Orange Cassidy match. I adored this match, Chris, and it surprised some people how much I loved this match, because the work was fine, but the story they told was so damn simple and so damn good. Jay Lethal's gonna work over the leg, and he's gonna keep working the leg, and he's gonna keep working the leg until Orange Cassidy tries to make a comeback, and then the leg fails him. Jay Lethal kicks the leg again, gets his move, 1, 2, 3, or I think it was a figure. He did a figure 4 as well.
Lethal injection.
Lethal injection as well. He did the lethal injection, trying to get that a couple times, but just a guy going in there and working over a body part, and the body part eventually failed. Yes, you had. Look, I will dismiss the best friends in a trench coat because I laughed at that versus Sutton. I'm saying I admittedly laughed, but and I know people were upset because Orange Cassidy didn't win, but I loved this match just because you don't see that anymore. What you see is two guys doing a bunch of moves, going full speed. One catches them in their finisher, a bunch of kickouts to finishers. And it was like a basic TV match from my youth, and I loved it. My only downside was the aftermath. I think the best friend should have gotten beaten down before Wardlow comes in and do that, as opposed to just sitting there. I think it would have gotten over Lethal Dutt, who was Sanjay Dutt doing the fake announcer thing. Oh, chef's kiss. Love that. And I like Satnam Singh. He brings a certain charisma to it. And that match versus Wardlow, I don't know if you let Satnam Singh go against Wardlow, because I think you have to beat Wardlow. And I don't think it's time to beat Satnam Singh yet necessarily. But everything about this segment I loved.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm like as intense as you, but
That's
I
fine.
really liked this for a best friends style match. Like this is, I think we're all disappointed that Orange Cassidy has fallen more into this mid-card status, and that's a fair criticism, but it is what it is. He's over, and if they want to heat him back up again, you know they can. Like he's still very popular. It just stinks that he's like not more of a main event player guy. Sure, the best friends thing probably holds him back from being more of a main event player guy. Sure,
the gimmick keeps him from being a main event player too. I mean,
but we've also seen that with some minor modulation that gimmick basically can be a main event gimmick. So yes. I'm less down on the gimmick writ large so much as the best friends association. Okay. But inside of a best friends style skit match, I thought you got a good best friend skit and you got a good match here. I thought that it like you, I liked the story of this match. Super clear. Lethal's working the leg because the orange punch is about pushing off of one leg, like the Superman punch, right? Mm-hmm. And if you take that one leg out from Orange Cassidy, he can't push off of the leg he normally pushes off of, which means he can't punch with the hand that he normally punches with, which basically takes away the orange punch from him. Simple story. And that ended up playing into the finish of the match, which is like all you want, right? And the heel took advantage of a distraction, was working a limb, which, you know, it always is more associated with the heel sort of style. And I liked it. I thought it was a good match.
Your turn, sir.
All right. Edge came back. Yeah.
At SummerSlam. And let me snark a little bit on this because this was something that I found dopey, but I didn't mind it at the time. It's like the whole complaint about the Judgment Day stable was that Edge didn't want it to go into the supernatural aspects of it, and then he comes back on a stairway to hell. Okay.
But then this promo was not about that. It was like, now it was like I was trying to pass on my knowledge about like injustices or something, but their judgment got clouded. That, ironically, the Judgment Day has the clouded judgment.
Trying to make it far more deep than it was.
No, yeah, there's no depth here. This has never been a deep story. No. Yeah, it's the shallowest pool. The shallowest pool.
Just say Finn Balor screwed me, and we're off to the races.
Like, they don't, Finn Balor screwed me. These young punks don't respect me, and I'm going to show them that I can still kick ass.
It's like the simplicity of, I want to kick your ass. Hey, there's a feud. There we go. Or I don't like you. You know, Finn Balor screwed me. That's all we need.
Yeah. Those kids sided with him. Screw them. Screw Finn Balor. They're jerks. I'm gonna kick their ass. It's a very simple story. And I will say this. I like short hair Edge. I think it works a lot better. I think it works just a lot better. I'm way more here for short hair Edge.
And colored beard Edge.
Yeah.
I will stay on Raw as well. Those two triple threat matches were better than they had any right to be. The end of the AJ Styles one was just so fantastic.
I wanted to ignore these, Jeff, but then I was like, wait, good wrestling's happening. I have to watch this.
Yes,
I wanted to be able
to. Here comes Ali. He's just going to get made to look like a goof. Nope. Ali looked good in his match. I thought that was great, And then you get to the other one and it's like, oh, who cares
this is the thing for me, man, is it's a really interesting test balloon week where the ratings are good. And then this is sort of much more in line of the type of people and the type of matches and the type of work that people like you and I and other commentators kind of have wanted to see. Like Ollie working a 10 to 12 minute match, Ciampa being presented as a credible threat. Yes, this is what we want. I want to see if the ratings hold, but I want to believe that people still like good, exciting wrestling.
That's gonna be a real test. Is that Ciampa Bobby Lashley stare down when they're in the ring together, and do people find Ciampa credible against a guy like Bobby
They
Lashley.
gotta let him do a promo. They gotta let him get himself over on a promo because he's a great promo. But I mean, I think with the shaky presentation and the Miz Association and all that other stuff that's been going on, I think we need to really get back to Blackheart Tommaso Ciampa.
Okay. Any chance that he wins the title in Cleveland?
Ooh, I mean, this would be a great place for Johnny to show up and help him do it.
That's what I was thinking. Well,
yeah.
Or Miz helps Ciampa, and who comes out to help Bobby is Mr. Rebel Hart out of Cleveland. I was thinking that as well. But yeah, that'll be an interesting. I am looking forward to this main event. I think it's going to be the main event on Raw. If Johnny's coming back, it's the main event. But
yeah, right. And if it gets time, I just have a hard time thinking that like Lashley and Ciampa aren't going to have a bit of a banger. Like, the Ciampa's good. This is clearly going to be a showcase for him under a new regnum where people take him seriously. Lashley's been a proven commodity for the company over the last year here. He's got a clear fan base, and look, when Lashley's good, he's very good.
I think next week we'll be talking about returns anyways, based on the rumors of SmackDown. Don't want to get into it because I don't know who's showing up yet and who's not showing up. But SmackDown's going to get some either new toys or old toys with fresh paint on them. So we'll see what happens there.
Sweet.
Your turn on the river, sir.
You know what isn't working for me? Let's do something that isn't working for me.
Okay.
That is Joe Gacy and his druids. The Gacy druids. Like what have they done to Zach Gibson, Jeffrey?
I don't know.
What has happened to him?
They've given him a fresh shave and new contacts, and both he and
James Drake
look different, and you're just like, they look clean and different, and I don't like them. I like my guy Scuzzy. I like Scuzzy grizzled young vets. I like.
Why would you make Zach Gibson less interesting?
Right.
Like, also, like, why would you put him in a faction where someone else is going to talk for him?
Exactly. That's
friggin' Zach Gibson.
Yeah, WWE does this. If you're a great, like when they brought, I mean, the most prominent example I always use is when Arn and Tully came over and they gave him Heenan, and they never let Arn and Tully talk except for 15 seconds, and Heenan did most of the talking. It's like, why don't you let these guys talk? Because they're badasses. Yeah, WWE does that sometimes. They take the mic out of the hands of good people to see if you can get over without your mouth. And it's very weird. I don't get that either. I do not want to talk about this, but if you
it very much upsets me. It's like the guy has like built-in chance if you hate him. He used to literally be able to come out and just start cutting a promo and getting people to like boo him uproariously on his way to the ring. Like even if he hadn't been on screen for a while, he was one of the even with a less focused presentation, especially in recent years, still one of the strongest heels in the company, just in terms of being able to come out instant heat, works a style that like you'd never cheer for or like accidentally get excited about or whatever. Like he keeps the lines very clear. I'm the black hat, someone else is the white hat. It's so weird seeing him partnered with Joe Gacy, and this Joe Gacy character still sucks.
Let me finish up NXT here because I don't want to have to come back to it because I think I have some AEW thoughts to get out of the way as well on the Lazy River. But I think the women of NXT had a particularly good night on Tuesday. That 4-way tag was better than it had any right to be. Casey Catanzaro and Katana Chance and I still want to call her Lacey Lane all the time, but that's not it. What's her partner's name, Chris? Help me out here.
Katana Chance and
Casey Carter.
Caden Carter.
Thank you.
Casey and Casey.
Casey and Caden.
Well, no, they both, their initials are both KC now.
Thank you. They are your new NXT Women's Tag Team Champs. Probably a long time coming. The two other teams that weren't Toxic Attraction held their own, I thought. Had a few good spots in there. Not bad for some beginners. Toxic Attraction held JC Jane, still fantastic. Still the glue that holds that whole unit together. both with the character work with the Alundra Blaze / Medusa and in here. I'm also going to give a shout out because she's still nailing this character. She has it. And that is Tiffany Stratton. That promo package that she did, I laughed uproariously when she went, well, time to go shopping. It is such a vapid, stupid character. And sometimes it's hard to play that with conviction. But she is both vapid and vain, and she's fantastic at doing it. And she's killing the character work. Wrestling work, still coming along, but she killed it in that promo. I thought and of course Roxanne Perez is just effing fantastic, and I would be surprised if she wasn't on SmackDown tonight. I don't think she will be. But Roxanne Perez and also Zoe Stark are both very welcome in this division and are both going to be the leaders in it if they don't get brought up.
Yeah, strong night for the women. Ivy Nile looked great, I thought, in the match. I'm a big fan of Leon and Feroz as well.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. No, I think they've got personality. I think that goes a long way, and we've seen in the past they're willing to take some crazy risks if they can tighten that up.
I'll even defend Kiana James as having some personality, even though her gimmick is just sexy librarian. Yeah, hot girl with glasses or whatever, but she plays the character and she commits hard to it.
I thought the big dud moment for me, other than like the Druids, is Braun Breaker and JD McDonough, which just has no heat. It's just, he
had heat as the Irish Ace. He has no heat as JD McDonough.
Yeah, he just doesn't. It just doesn't feel like anything.
Oh, yeah. But I did howl at the Nathan Frazier spot where Giovanni Vinci is walking down for the open challenge and Nathan Frazier just runs right by him and takes it. I howled at that. That is such a perfect move. I adored that. It's just those little, hey, if he's wasting his time, go down there and take it from him. That's ruthless aggression, brother.
Yeah. And then in your main event, Von Wagner still stinks. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, your turn.
All right. I guess let's swing back to Dynamite here, shall we?
Yes, I am willing to take that. What would you like to talk about? Because I have a subject primed and ready if you don't.
Okay, hit me with a subject that's primed and ready.
While it wasn't great and it could have been better, I still enjoyed the Undisputed Elite turn on the Bucks. Look, this has been high school after school special level drama here. I haven't always enjoyed it. I think Adam Cole is a little, I don't want to say overrated, but Adam Cole has one promo pretty much to me at times. And it's a good promo, but it's always the same promo that Adam Cole has. I'm the leader of whatever group I'm in and we're great type of thing. That's his only promo. But I did like the Chris, I don't know how deep your 80s movies knowledge goes, but did you see the Brian De Palma Untouchables movie with Robert De Niro as Al Capone and Kevin Costner as Elliot Ness?
No.
Okay. Well, you might know this scene, nevertheless. Is Elliot Ness and his Untouchables have had a strike against the Capone thing. And so he has all his Capone has all his capos there for dinner. And he's talking about teamwork. He picks up a baseball bat and starts talking about baseball and the team and all that other stuff. Okay, yeah, teamwork. All of a sudden he slugs the guy in the back of the head. That was this. And while I would much rather have some depth and a little bit more playing up of it, and, this needed to be slowed down and done over a few weeks, to be honest with you, I adored it for what it was. And Chris, wrestling needs more crying children. And I adored the crying child. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to be mean to children. But when heels are effective in getting people to cry or getting people upset, see the Horsemen and Ricky Morton, see Sasha Banks and Izzy at NXT, Iron Woman match or whatever, I like that people can feel something real as opposed to it just being ironic disassociation with wrestling where they're booing just to boo because they want to be part of the show. I like that people actually really get upset because they care about the Young Bucks. And this child, the shot of him crying, it sounds terrible, Chris, but it filled me with such joy and lifted the cynicism from me about wrestling, that people can still feel real things about what they're watching in such a contrived program as the Young Bucks and Adam Page.
Yeah. The lot to respond to there, like unpack there. Going back to Adam Cole. Adam Cole's promo style, as you said, is very one note. He has one personality disposition.
Yes.
He really, as we've seen here, especially in recent years, only seems to kind of work as the leader of a group. You know, he's
a great alpha heel, but he never expands upon that. And when he's beat, you know, it's
I would say he's a fine alpha heel, because like a good alpha heel has depth and nuance to the personality.
Yes.
And Adam Cole's alpha heel characters never do. They're never interesting. He's just like, I'm the leader guy. Like he's like the leader of the thug gang who doesn't actually have like a personality. He's just like the leader of the thug gang in the movie. And I do think that like that's a fair criticism of his personality sort of limitations. Like, and that's been fairly consistent. I'm with you that there need to be more of a build on this. In particular, I guess to get to your crying children point, like if the children are going to cry for the Young Bucks, I don't know, establish them better as baby faces.
Yes. Yeah.
I do sort of view the crying children as a bit of a testimony to the longstanding criticism that many of us have had with the Bucks and like this whole like undisputed stuff, which has been, they're like weird, ironic, detached heels, not actually truly hated heels.
Right.
And like the fact that immediately the Bucks, you know, like evoke tears from a child means that child was never really angry at the Bucks. And all those other examples that you cited of, you know, children crying in recent years have been in strong heel and babyface dynamics.
Yes.
And during those, yes, absolutely. I want that. I would completely co-sign on everything you said otherwise. But in this particular one of a heel group splitting up, like when the NWO splits up, I don't want children crying. like you know, like
no, not Vincent and Stevie Ray.
No, Kevin Nash and Hogan are fighting. Stevie Ray and Vincent aren't getting along.
Who gets Horace Hogan in the divorce? Oh my God!
No, Dad, I want to go home. Like no, there's a right time and a wrong time for crying.
Mike Rotunda go at this point, and his dull ass.
What if the Wolfpack ends up with DiBiase's money? That'll really change the game.
My God, who is Marcus Alexander Bagwell going to talk to right now?
Crying into your dad's shirt as Buff and Steiner are fighting in the ring.
No, not this team of the Jerk and the other Jerk. No, we can't do that. I almost not want to do that as a video. You know, just have that breakup going and just like film a new camera cut of some 30-year-old neckbeard crying about the split up of Vicious and Delicious or whatever.
Yeah, Vicious and Delicious.
Scott Norton's such a good soul in that crew.
Not Flash.
Not Flash. He did this with Ice Train before.
History repeating itself. God. No, I mean, I guess that's my only thought on the children crying thing is that like, you know, there's a right time and a wrong time, and I think maybe you can make the argument that like the fact that it occurred here, I think on one hand, yes, they'll be fine as baby faces, but on the other hand, were they ever really heels? This thing is the other question.
I think you're right. I mean, that's a very, very valid point. They need to build up. They need to build up some. They need to build up the Bucks as hey, we're on our way to being good guys type of thing, and a little bit more, even a little bit more chumminess with Red Dragon would have helped here to make the turn that much more impactful. Yeah, the turn.
Yeah, yeah, especially if like Nick and Matt
especially
had
after all the bickering they had been doing.
Right. If they we have like a cut scene maybe 2 weeks prior where they're like, we gotta get along better. Like basically like the Jacksons are sort of like, we're gonna try to make this thing work. And meanwhile, you have Red Dragon conspiring against them.
Yeah.
I think that would have made the, I guess the split, it would have made the Bucks more sympathetic in the split, but again, would then beg the question, like, okay, but like if these guys like, we need to make our evil bad guy group work better, are they like good guys? Is that like really the thing that like a good guy would do?
Just because you turn doesn't make you a good guy. I mean, just because a bad guy beats up another bad guy, it doesn't make the guy that they beat up the good guy.
Right, yeah, just because you got turned on. Right, I guess that's honestly another good point. Just because you got turned on does not mean that you have turned. And I think
that's like, a Ricky Starks problem as well. I think, even though they did the fist pump with Hook, I mean, basically what Taz did was that I just want to sit here and cut jokes. I don't want to be Team Taz anymore.
Boy, I just thought that was a total punt though on a story. Like when people bring up punted storylines, I just like going like, oh, Taz, I have no opinion on this. The end. Like,
I did not like that, but I did like Ricky Starks just being so mad he runs it and just gets his ass destroyed.
No, I thought that was great. I thought it was good. It was intense. Like I think
one
Starks
shot done. Loved it.
Yep, House of Fire got shut down by Hobbs. Hobbs like restrained himself, but there's going to be just like more and like no, I like Starks as a babyface. I think he makes a ton of sense. And I also think that like the one thing that they did that's different than the Bucks here is in recent weeks, Starks has been wrestling pretty much clean matches.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a heel, but he was like not working in a sort of dastardly way during them.
He wasn't cheating. He was just a jerk.
Yeah, but like, and the audience was loving it. So it's like, it felt very organic when they finally turned him entirely.
Let's finish up our AEW notes of any kind. Do you have one? Because I have a couple more if you need
them. Okay. Christian Cage did his best to carry Matt Hardy along in a match. I thought that was very generous.
Yeah, while I was positive about everything, I was looking at my phone during this match and I didn't care. I gotta be honest with you. I just was like, yeah, it's a solid 2-star TV match between one guy who's way too old and shouldn't be in there, and another guy who has lost a step but is still solid technically. I mean, you put Matt Hardy through a table, I'm good with this. Now,
all right, I'll go one more then. I'll go one more because that was a quickie. Let's talk about Jericho and Yuta. I think Yuta needed to beat Jericho here. I think Jericho needed to come out as the Lionheart, and Yuta needed to kill the Lionheart and like add some wrinkles into this Blackpool Combat Club storyline. I think a swerve here would have been very cool.
I thought Jericho was moving in slow motion for the first half of this match, but as it went on, it was very, very good. And I love the Lion Tamer with the knee on the head and everything, and just looking vicious. I agree with you. I loved the idea, and this is not mine. I think this was Brian Alvarez's idea of Jericho going in there and just laying down for Yuta, so that Yuta would have to go in there and fight Mox. And just have him be the guy going, yeah, I'm going to make you fight your newfound friend. Let's see how that goes for you, type of thing.
Yeah, see, I don't want to lay down. I wouldn't want you to, like, basically, I want Jericho to come out there kind of thinking, like, almost like Apollo Creed.
Oh, you want,
yeah,
okay.
Like the Apollo Creed, yeah, the not like Rocky IV, like Apollo Creed. What's the other
Rocky
one where he kind of, Rocky 2, right, where he gets blindsided. He's still coming out there thinking he's like, hot stuff, and Rocky's ready for him this time. Like, and want Jericho to come out there thinking he's going to debut the Lion Tamer and sort of tricking the audience into thinking, okay, he's, here comes the Lionheart Chris Jericho. We're gonna see that version of it, and Yuta essentially upsets Jericho, and we just sort of end with like this like weird lingering question, and even Regal on commentary going like, wait a second, what's going to happen here? Because like basically at some point you have to crap or get off the pot with Yuta. And I think like he needs a signature win, a signature moment, and a signature inflection point to show that this Blackpool combat stuff has actually really meant something for him. And I think doing this, adding this wrinkle of like, no, John, you're a fantastic interim champion. Obviously, I respect you. But the whole reason I joined this group and the reason I left Best Friends is I wanted to be number one. The reason I'm in this group right now is I want to be number one. And if that means beating you, I'm going to beat you.
I will end mine on a group that I criticize a lot, but I liked this match. And it was the women's tag between Thunderstorm and Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. Baker and Hayter matching gear, I approve. Liked it. Thunder Rosa has been booked poorly as a champion because she has no rival per se other than Britt. She's never really, it's not something to she got thrown into a feud with Toni Storm, who's another babyface, which was ridiculous. She needed another heel. She needed to have about a 2-month feud with Nyla Rose, I think, in my opinion. But that said, she has chemistry. Don't get me wrong. I hated the shirt. I'm not going to dwell on the shirt. The sandbagging shirt is stupid. They should have never made it.
What's sandbagging, Jeff? Daddy, what's sandbagging?
Yes.
Daddy, I don't understand sandbagging.
Now we're going to make the children cry.
I know. And then he explains that sometimes Thunder Rosa potatoes people, and then the kid starts asking what potatoes are.
Sometimes she dead weights on suplexes and things like that. Son, let me tell you about this. This is actually having to be a cooperative art form more than much. No. DMD and Thunder Rosa have chemistry. And they're and Britt Baker's the only person, it seems, that Thunder Rosa has chemistry with. And it's amazing to watch it. The latter half of this match, after a shaky start and Toni Storm having some issues with the ropes and DDTs, but the second half of this match was quite good, and it felt quite vicious, and I quite liked it. And I thought it was interesting giving Hayter the pin as well. Sets up that feud pretty nicely. I think look, they didn't fix the women's division in one night, but it was a nice start, I thought.
Still worry about DMD and Rosa as a pairing to get Rosa over. It just always seems that like every DMD pairing gets DMD over. Yeah, it's the Becky Lynch Bianca situation where you just can't. If you're trying to get Bianca over, you can't have Becky in the frame. And if you're trying to get Thunder Rosa over, you can't have DMD in the.
Chris. Uh-oh.
DMD can't be the number one heel.
Right.
Which is what she'll always be.
Yeah.
And so long as you have Thunder Rosa as the number one baby face, because she'll continue to swallow up Thunder Rosa.
We need a long, heated feud with Thunder Rosa because her best promos are when she's angry. And she needs to be angry at somebody other than Britt Baker.
Yeah, I guess another way of saying that too is her bad promos is when she's trying to be calm.
Yes, I would agree. I think that's true. Everything else is just kind of tertiary. I was going to talk maybe a little bit about Stokely and Ethan Page, but I think that's just there's going to be a shift in managers and stuff, and I kind of want to see how all these stables play out before I comment on them. Anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, the Page promo I thought was fine-ish.
I will miss Dan Lambert if he's gone.
I will miss Dan Lambert if he's gone. I think that they lost the thread with him a little bit, but like he clearly, when it was working quite well. He was just like he's a
jerk, and he's such a good natural.
It's like Zach Gibson energy, just natural. Yeah, supernatural. Really fluid.
I think we can end on this, but I want to talk. I think they have a manager problem right now, and this is my issue: is that they don't have for lack of a better term, they don't have a main event manager. I love Stokely. I do. He's great. I don't view him in that. He doesn't have, like, they have him, they have Smart Mark, they have Vicky Guerrero. QT is there as a player manager. Tully's no longer there. Jake, I think, has been shelved.
I think Stokely could be the guy, especially with Stokely juxtaposed against Regal. I think that Regal and Stokely could have real interesting chemistry.
I think they'll have interesting chemistry, but what I'm saying is you don't have the Gary Hart dark energy where it's like, I'm coming in, I'm bringing in these guys, and we're going to do some damage to some people here. We're going to hurt some people. You know, even J.J. Dillon as manager of the Horsemen had a certain aura of, hey, I'm a businessman. This is just business. And my boys are going to go out there and beat the hell out of you. And he didn't need to do much because those guys were so great on promos anyways. Stokely still has that. He has funny, but it's the wrong kind of funny to be main event. Like don't get me wrong, Cornette and Dangerously were funny promos, and they're great managers. But when it came to the in-ring stuff, they were vicious.
Yeah, Cornette was really good at going. The vintage Cornette, super good, really gifted at going for the close in his promos. Like when it was like the final, he could be funny up front and then like switch gears and go menacing, yes, and like making real meaningful threats. And the jokes go to the wayside, and it's very clear that like the jokes are like a front for his meanness.
Yes, exactly. No, that's a great way to put it. And that would have to happen with Stokely, and I just don't know. And this, I think he could get there. This here's what I'll say. Will they allow him to get there? That's the
right,
question.
Right. But if there's a way for him to get there, I think this reset of like Stokely and what he's doing is good. I hope it means he's pulling away from Jade Cargill, and so we don't need to keep adding, more accessories onto this act. I think Stokely, should, to your point, be focused on getting the main event belt. Like his mission should be, I smell weakness right now. Okay. Moxley is a weak interim champion in my estimations, and CM Punk is also weak. He's injured. When's he coming back? This is my time to make a play, and I'm putting together main event guys.
I'm finding a guy who can take him out.
Yep.
I agree. We'll end there. Pretty positive week. You can follow me on Twitter at CrapGame13. You can follow Chris at DWATG. You can just follow the show as it releases at Shake Them Ropes, all one word. We are part of the Voices of Wrestling podcasting network. No matter your fandom, whatever it is, there's a show for you on it, including the flagship Music of the Mat, 5-star match game, Open the Voice Gate, etc., etc. Hey, try whatever you want from our sampler platter here. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Hellofresh. Use code VOW16. Chris, what is the promo? You get up to 16 free meals.
Yeah, we call it the 1673 over here, Hawkins, and that is 16 free meals over 7 boxes and 3 free gifts.
Perfect. 1673. Chris does a show called Don't Worry About the Government. That's why his handle is DWATG. He's going to tell you about it now.
Yeah, I'm also now on Instagram as well, believe it or not, Jeffrey. You can find me at Dr_Nov, N-O-V, on Instagram. Don't Worry About the Government is available on Patreon at patreon.com/DWATG. You can go and check out the show there. The audio versions are available for free. Video versions are for Patreon supporters, and they come out a little bit sooner before the audio versions. You can also subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify as well.
I think I will also plug my other show, which I always forget to do. I am on the Fight Game Media Network doing the Dynamite Show. About 10 minutes after Dynamite goes off the air, Hot Takes with myself and Paul Ace Fontaine. $5 a month will get you to that because it's behind the paywall there, but there are plenty of shows over there for your wrestling needs. If you're an Impact fan, there's an Impact only show over there as well. I think Voices no longer has an Impact show. I might be wrong on that. I don't want to disgrace Garrett Kidney or anything like that, but yeah. So hey, whatever. Those are our plugs.
Hey, whatever.
Sorry, I couldn't even think of a way to close it. Unlike Jim Cornette.
You already know the fun of Kings Island. Blue ice cream for lunch, catching your breath between screams on the beast. But this summer at Kings Island, this is 50. Don't miss the 50th anniversary celebration all summer long with new shows, new food, and new fun. It's Kings Island's biggest summer yet. And now through August 14th, Kings Island is turning up the excitement with a daily 50 Years of Fun street party. It features dancers, music, and more, commemorating the last 50 years. Make plans today at visitkingsisland.com.